is perhaps the finest moment in my career to have all of you come here to bless this occasion. And I can see faces of friendship and pride as I look around at you. And these are faces of genuine happiness and pride. And I know that you've taken time out of a busy Monday afternoon to come here and make this moment precious for all of us. Thank you so much, and I wish to thank all the people who spoke here, such nice words of appreciation. And just to preserve this moment, will you allow me to take this photograph? Because, you know, I love photographs, and this is something that I will cherish. All of you, I know it's not state manners to take photographs of an audience, but, you know, honestly, I don't care at this point. So, the book, much has been said about the book. Thanks for the nice words of appreciation. When one of the directors of Manorama, Mr. Jayant Maman Matthew, he asked me to write a few years ago. He seemed to have confidence in me that I could write something. So I sent a very simple article on how to survive a hot summer. In fact, it is written in very, very simple format. And the next article I wrote was on death. It was about what a living person can do to make one's own death pleasant. It was a dark topic, but it was not written in a negative sense. It was written in a positive sense. The article was well received by the public, but Manorama refused to put it in the book because they thought it will add a dark flavor to the book. As Nilima very nicely pointed out, they picked out the articles that would be most appreciated by the public, and Dr. Philip Augustine very kindly acknowledged my latest work, which came out just 3 days ago, on what to think about night driving, and that was my 45th work. And I'm inspired to continue the work because each time I come across a topic, it inspires me. For instance, 2 days ago we heard the tragedy of 6 people dying in a tragic car accident. It's a topic that I've said over and over again, and during my 2 years as Secretary of the Indian Medical Association, worked with a lot of my friends here with the motor vehicle department. I can see Mr. Vinod Kumar upstairs, Undi Anandakrishnan is here, plenty of colleagues are here. Worked tirelessly with them to reduce risky behavior. I'm not a law enforcer, but I'm a trainer. I can make people change their behavior by telling them the facts, educating them. Like, why did this 20-year-old kid want to overtake that truck or the tempo van? And he ran head-on into a large vehicle, and that killed 6 people. So when we do root cause analysis of such situations, when, as my friend Arvind Hafiz mentioned, the tragic death of Dr. A.P. Chandrasekharan, he was just killed randomly by somebody on the road. So when you do a root cause analysis, it's called RCA, they say you must ask the question why 5 times to unearth the cause. Let's just ask this kid who's no more, why did he kill the 6 people, including himself? If you ask him, chances are he will say, I was trying to make up time on the road. The road is not a place where you make up time. That is something I have said a million times, and I don't mind repeating it in this audience. You don't make up time on the road. You got 1,440 minutes every day. You don't use the road to make up the time because you are bad with poor management. You have no business killing other people. So that is one of the main messages that came out of the root cause analysis. Many people ask me how I manage the time to write. My answer to them is a couple of things. One, people who are seemingly good with time management should not be too proud of themselves, because they are good at time management only because there are other people around them who help them manage the time. I have a family that is supportive and they take care of themselves and they don't stress me out, and that is very important. If you have a family that is supportive, that is half the job done. And if you have colleagues and a pleasant workplace that treats you like an equal, like a family member, and you have colleagues like whereas Jisha and Veena and Maria and all that, they're all here around me. I can depend on them with my eyes closed. I know they will not put a foot wrong. And if you have such people around you, I've got colleagues, Dr. Jiffy is here, Dr. Joby is here. I have colleagues who I can count on. I have so many colleagues. Dr. Padma Umar is here. He supported me so many years. So these are the people that make good time management possible. It is not my ability alone. And I think, please give a round of applause to this whole bunch of people who actually make a very nice time management possible. There can be mothers, daughters, wives, friends, colleagues. And it is not just one person that does time management. But I'll also say this, there is something called the 80-20 rule. I'm sure all of you are aware of 80-20 rules. There are varying segments of 80-20 rule. I'm talking about the 80-20 rule of time management. It is said that 80% of our work comes out of 20% of our time. And that is absolutely true. Because out of this 24 hours, there are times when we are not very productive. So if we try to do something very inventive during such hours, our productivity is not very good. But there are some parts of the day. In my case, the time starts at 5:15 till 6:15. My brain works at peak capacity. So if I'm able to write something at that time, my output is 10 times more than if I try otherwise. I'm sure if you look at your schedule and try this, you will find a window where you can actually produce a lot more. Some people, a friend of mine, Dr. Biju John, a co-rank holder in St. Joseph's, he wakes up at 3 in the morning and he's productive at 3 in the morning. Now, I am a late sleeper, so that's, again, you can work the way you think you can. What I also do is, I turn this thing off, because people say humans are multitaskers. We are not multitaskers, we are single taskers. When we switch from one task to the other, our concentration fails, and at least in my case, if I get disturbed when I'm writing, I find it very stressful to get my brain back into order. So I have my staff here who lock me up in my room, and I am their slave at work. They open the door and let the patient in, and as soon as the patient steps out, they lock the door because they know I'm concentrating. So the patient gets good care, I get my privacy, and I don't get people who are wandering in and out of my room. So those are some ways in which I manage my time. And people who need to speak with me can get my nurse's permission and come in. There's no problem with that. She'll just open the door and let them in. So that's one of the techniques I use. I also go off social media for weeks together when I'm working on something that requires my concentration. I just turn this thing off. WhatsApp, Facebook, everything I turn off. But I use this to also connect with people, because this book was possible not with just my work, but as was mentioned here, many people in this audience, you have contributed. We got a film star, Ranjini, in the back. Ranjini is a social activist, the heroine of numerous Malayalam movies that we are familiar with. And Ranjini has helped me. She's a social activist. She helped me with several of these articles. Thank you, Ranjini. Thanks for also gracing the occasion. Thank you, Renee Fortius. Every one of you has contributed one way or the other, and social media, the power of social media, I'm able to harness the power of social media to get alternative opinions, get a different perspective. I enjoy talking with people who disagree with me, because that way I can get my mind to think in new ways. Because most of us like to talk to people that agree with us. I like to talk to people that disagree with me, not fight with me, but disagree with me. So those are some ways I use to write this book. Since so much was mentioned about the book, I thought I'll just discuss some of the tricks that I used. Again, I thank you all for coming here on time. I was very particular that we should start at 6:30 and finish at 7:30, and I'll stop here and I'll invite Remy to take over from here, and we have Dr. Ravi who's going to deliver the word of thanks. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
വളരെയധികം നന്ദി സർ. അടുത്തതായി നന്ദി പ്രകാശനത്തിന്